Super Soul Sisters, yet another amazing episode. Every time I am here, I wish you all felt how I feel. And I'm glad my producer and the team get to give me the opportunity to be here for our Super Soul Sisters. My name is Rowana Kajumba, but our Super Soul Sister today, many of you have probably seen, heard, or, come in contact with her. And of course, I must say she's an amazing lady. Our interaction here has been amazing. And that's Honorable Sarah Nkonge Muwonge. I had to say the full name. Yes. And she's our Super Soul Sister. You're very welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam Kajumba.
Yes. And I'm glad it's quite a busy time, busy season, everything that you made time for us. So real quick, when people are wondering who Sarah Nkonge is, before the politician, before the businesswoman, before all of these things you've accomplished in life, including failures and achievements, who is Sarah? When Bali was like, we know Sarah.
Yeah. They think they know me. Oh, yes.
Yes.
I want to thank UBC for putting on this program, Super Soul Sisters. Yeah. It brings in a very positive connotation, especially on women. My name is Dr. Sarah Nkonge Muwonge. I did my PhD at Makerere University where I took education, administration, planning, and policy planning and educational management and administration. Oh. But I'm a teacher by profession. Okay. Although I do a lot of so many different things, I'm a multitasker. Much as I'm a veteran teacher, senior educationist in this country, Uganda, I am also a businesswoman. I'm also a sportswoman.
Yes.
I have a passion for the sports for the girls, netball. Oh. And we have also started a sport, the same sport, for the boys. The boys' international team called the Rock, which is #2 in Africa. We took a gold medal in South Africa. The host became #1, but they displayed a very good game. 3, I'm a member of Kwagalana Group. Nice. These are businessmen who come together to uplift each other. On top of that, I work with the Kingdom of Buganda. I am the chairperson of Bachala. They call it Bachala Buganda Tabameruka. I'm the chairperson, and recently we went to South Africa to sensitize women on what their rights are, how they could keep the norms and the culture of the Buganda Kingdom and keep their homes together. Yeah. It was a very nice trip, and we have decided to take these trips abroad. But of course, looking at the 17 counties of the Buganda Kingdom, where we have different women, and we sit down to discuss healthy issues, marriage issues, domestic violence, and where we sit with Her Royal Highness, the Nabagereka of Buganda, to help women, to help her, to assist her as she does her chisakati. They call it chisakati, obuntu bulamu. And we hope we shall build a college or an academy concerning that, because moral degeneration is the worst. More still, we think that people are mentally ill because of the situation we see today in Uganda. If we can also tackle that area as women, we'll be okay. But lastly, I'm a very good dancer. I love Afrigo. I dance. Hey. During my free time, I go out and change my mindset.
That is true.
I'm a Rotarian of the Rotary Club of Machindi, and I'm a woman activist.
I love all the things you
I'm a politician. I'm a politician. Yes. So I love myself. The first thing is to love myself, but I keep on upgrading. I invest in myself. I am still studying in the Utah Valley University.
Oh, indeed.
Thank you very much.
I'm very, right now I feel like my spirits are raised and I'm up,
Yes.
And this is a good message for us to take home while we are in the festive season. It's Christmas, December
Yes.
time. So, but that was a quick profile she was given. She said, as much as I love to work hard, I play hard too. So this is what makes people to change your mind, to let it, once you have a timid mind sometimes things never go well. Now let's go back to you as a child. Who are you born to?
I was born to the late Geresom Charles Nkonge, who was a personal assistant to the Katikiro by that time of the Buganda Kingdom. And he was a very great footballer.
Okay.
He used to play in the national team of this country.
Nice.
And he's known for that.
Nice.
But at the same time, I was born of a mother who is a teacher and a politician. She was a counselor. She was called Kezia Margaret Namukasa Nkonge, a politician and a teacher. So those are my parents. And my siblings, okay, I have 3 doctors in the family, and 2 legal personnels. We have a judge called Alexandra Nkonge Rugadia, and her worship, Dr. Agnes Nkonge, who is a deputy registrar in the commercial court. And I have 6 children who are still living. Some of them are working in our businesses. I lost my husband in 2004. He was a teacher as well, and we owned schools together. But he died. He succumbed to cancer. But I remained positive. He was a church goer. He was the head of the laity of the church. And I also have positions in church. I forgot to talk about my church. I go to St. Agnes Church, Machindi, where I am the patron of the choir, the senior choir, but at the same time I'm the head of the laity of, they call it Kabondo Community Mobile, where people who are friends of St. Agnes, I'm the chairperson. I love my life, everything.
I can see that.
I am all around.
Thank
you, UBC.
I can see that. So growing up, I can see a few things that are linking back to you as a person. Your mother being a teacher, a politician. So what was your childhood like?
Apparently, my siblings are very quiet.
Oh, okay.
My elder brother is called Dr. Nkonge. He's the heir to my father's, And my sister Juliana, she's also a doctor.
Yes.
Then I have my brother Asel Bosa, Christopher Chinji, and other people. We talk about them. I come from people who are very quiet. I sometimes sit down and contemplate. Did I take all the talking boxes from them? Because when we have a function, it is me who's talking.
It is you, yes.
And I don't want to keep quiet because I have things to do.
And
my sister Joanita would have been, she's in France. She's a diplomat with the appeals board, UNESCO.
Okay.
She would have been one of the people who would have been near me.
Yeah.
But then she leaves me to talk because they know I talk and I talk and I talk for the family. I made myself the spokesperson of the family. But they are very intelligent and quiet. I'm not saying I'm the most brilliant, but God gave me a gift.
It's in your character.
My character.
To speak, yes.
And my parents used to know that.
Yes.
That is actually why I joined politics, and I kept on. I can't say NRM was there, but I didn't like it because I thought tebali kumulamwa. But then later on, His Excellency President Museveni started saying, okay, you might not love us, but come and work with us. Omuzungu agamba nti, if you can't beat them,
join them.
Join them. But it depends. When you join them, what can you see? What can you add? What treatment can they give you? Do they really welcome you?
Yes, yes, yes.
But if you are on the, you principled, you know what you want.
You know what you're doing. Okay. you're saying your siblings are very quiet, your
Yes,
parents
they're
were very
quiet.
quiet
I am
people
the
as well.
jukebox of the family. My
So
goodness.
what was it like going to school, and who is the youngest amongst all of you?
My sister Agnes is the youngest. She's a registrar in the commercial court.
And you come in.
I am number 4, but I went to Gayaza High School. Actually, I went to Ndeje Nali Nyarwantali. Later on, I went to Gayaza and then Makerere University. But all that time, I lived my life. I was an actress. I was a netballer. I played tennis. I played rounders. Name it, I was there.
Even in primary school?
Even in primary school, I used to run athletics.
Athletics.
Yeah, I played every sport there is in this world.
So primary where
primary, I was at Ndeje Nali Nyarwantali.
Okay.
Then I went to Gayaza.
So it's where you were doing the running.
And even Gayaza, I did the running.
Okay.
I did the running, I did the singing, I did the dancing. I did everything you can imagine. Acting.
Interesting.
And I still do it where possible if I get a chance.
Get a chance, yes.
If I get to gathering of people of my own caliber colleagues,
yes.
We share the same wavelength. If it's dancing part, it is dancing.
Yes.
If it is being serious, we remain as serious. It is a conference, I remain as a conference person. So I know what to do, where, when, and at what time, and I can multitask.
I can see that. Because when you talk about all of these things in one person, clearly you do multitask. So in primary school, what do you put back your finger to and remember very specifically? Something you will never forget. Because I think you have a story or two for us.
I love that story. I had a teacher, she was called Madame Chisembo. I hope she is still alive. I used to talk. I used to be talkative. I've never been a quiet person. Although I try to pretend and it refuses. I used to talk in the dormitory. And so at one time she said, I think enough is enough. You are going to sleep on my jute carpet. She had a carpet made of jute and it was really rough. I told her, it is okay, madam. So I went and slept on the jute carpet. And I told her I wanted to go to the toilet.
Okay.
She refused. I said, okay, if this jute carpet is going to become the toilet, I don't have to die. So there and then I went to the toilet. And she said, Sarah, you'll wash my jute carpet. I said, I told you, Madam Sembo.
No, I
wanted to go.
Yes.
You should be fair to me. And that day, she stopped giving me punishments. Of course, there was another one she gave me. They made me the class monitor. And the students shouted. They were talking. And I was not a very good one. So she told me, now that you've not done your job, I am going to beat you instead. I said, okay.
You always allow?
Yeah, I always allow. I'm very innocent. And she thought I would cry. Yankuba, nakuba, nengano kukaba. And she felt, ngampulira obulumi naye nga njagala kumulumya. Kumulaga nti, no, I'm not bothered. Then when she saw I was not crying, she moved me out of the class and said, genda oti, don't come back to class again. And when I reached outside the class, that's when I started crying because I was feeling that. But I didn't want her to see me. Eventually.
To see your pain.
Yes, eventually. We didn't make up. I don't know where she is, but I was not enough.
From then on, you were not in good terms?
No, but I couldn't tell her because she was my teacher.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the students liked me because I have the inner soul you've been talking about.
Yes.
I was so friendly to the girls. I would give advice. But there was also that not a part of me which God has created. I couldn't help myself. I was myself. I am myself, and I'll always be myself.
Indeed, indeed. So now, Gayaza, from what we've had here, and you're saying, but I was very talkative, I was in sport, I was this, I was that. Was it very often or popular for girls or common for girls, like for example, you said in Gayaza, to be doing all of these things? sports, where entertainment,
I
drama.
was exemplary. Some girls are workaholic.
Yes.
Some of them are bookish. They love studying all the time.
Yes.
And you know, gayaza, I have to pass, and I have to do what. People like me were very few. Apparently, my sisters were. There was a time we were doing relay. And the team was full of all of us. All my sisters were in gayaza. So the relay. And all of us were in the team. We won.
Really?
As a family, Nkonge family.
That must have been a proud moment.
Yes. Yes, it was a very good moment. There was, not everybody, many girls are dull. Many people are dull.
Yeah,
I'm not a dull woman.
Yeah,
And
full of color, I can see.
It was full of color, full of what I want to do. I easily overcome.
Yes.
And as I told you, I don't want to be senile. Age is about number.
Yeah.
Now, if I feel, you know, I did my PhD in an analog form. Now we are turning digital. Social media is coming up. So I went to Utah Valley University. I'm studying social media with young girls like you. Ate tulutubisanya. We are abwafunye kinana mutano nze nfuna kinana. And we are there. And I'm an advisor. I'm a prefect in that class.
In that class. The same person that you used to be.
For me, I've gone back. I'm rewinding. I'm not going to the front except for the things that help me.
Indeed. So in Gaza, you were there for O and A level?
O and A level.
Okay. Which year was that?
It's about 74, 1974.
Okay, that's for O level and A.
O level and A level.
Okay,
I might have made a mistake in that.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, but it's something like
around
that.
that time. And what made you stay? Because today we have a trend, you know where they were in the previous school. What was it like then to go to choose a school like that? Very prestigious school, I must say. And up to today, China record.
My mother went to Gayaza High School.
Yes.
And she taught in Gayaza High School.
Oh.
But at the same time, the time we had was Bazungu Bevario, Miss Cox, Miss Cutler, Miss Joanne. I've even forgotten the names. Some of them are Miss Shepard, Miss... I forgot the name. Some of the names I've forgotten. It says Tel Fox and we had time to tease those Bazungus. That's another very funny part. There was Mrs. Tel Fox who had just come in Gayaza. And we wanted to tease her because we felt like teasing.
Typical student.
And we told her, did you come with your winter jacket? We have winter in Uganda here. Tomorrow is winter.
Oh, wow.
So the poor woman came the next day with a jacket all dressed, and she was out of place completely. And of course, we were near the staff room just to see whether our trick has worked. Yes, it had worked.
Oh,
and we laughed the whole day. It gave us the whole week. We enjoyed ourselves. Then there was another one. She's called Miss Maholland. We asked her once, Miss Maholland, are you a virgin? And she said, no. I was raped in the Second World War. Oh, that made our day. So we started singing, Maho was raped in the Second World War. Maho was raped in the Second World War. The conclusion is that she's not a virgin. The conclusion, of course, that was teasing. Those were the childish days. I feel sorry. May God forgive me.
But I can imagine because you're students, you found that entertaining.
It was entertaining.
It was. So how did she react to this, by the way?
She just moved on. When you look at stupid fools like us, you just
young
move
kids.
on. She left us as we were. But of course, we did this outside, what our parents didn't know. The Sarah they knew was not But not to that
To
extent.
level, yes,
that
yes,
level.
yes, yes.
But I was lovely. I loved my parents. They took me to very good schools.
Indeed. So, and that experience overall, being in a girls' school, how did that trickle down to what your values are, what you think? Is it partly what is influencing your ideas and activism for women and understanding some of these things? But some people say, single schools, no. But being in an all-girls school around that time, I think must have been a normal thing to do. What was that like in terms of shaping your values?
Yes, of course it instilled Christian values into me. I love my God. I cannot leave my home without looking into the Bible, the holy book of God. Two, it made me exposed. When I go to people, I don't fear to connect with any person I can. And it made me very strong as a woman, that I felt I could do everything. Whether it includes men or not, I can express myself. I can do challenging things. And one time, actually, I tried to... South Africa was organizing organizations and trying to see people they can give a lifetime award. It was called Center for Excellence in Organization. Yes. I employ people.
Yes.
And I answered the quiz as if I was the best. We were invited to South Africa to get lifetime awards. I got 3 awards.
Wow.
Surprisingly. And then, what was it? Was it Mount Choice? They organized another competition, and I took one of the best prizes for People's Choice.
Yes, yes.
Because I love people.
Yes.
The way I answered my questions made me the best People's Choice. Okay, they had prepared to take us to South Africa. I think they lost the money or something. We didn't go. But at the same time, I work with teenagers. It's so funny. I match very well with them. I have a teenage partner in Utah Valley University. She's 22, and they told us to make pen pals, to connect.
Yes.
My age difference is so big. She's only 22. I said, now, how do I go with about it? So I asked her a question as a journalist, just like you're asking me a question.
Yes.
Because I'm also doing some part of journalism there.
Yes, yes.
I asked her, those inspiring questions, and she told me about herself. So I wrote a profile story about her. Oh. And she said, I would like to come and see you in Uganda. A 22-year-old girl, she's called Alexa O'Neill. She said, you wrote so much about me. I didn't know I was this. That inspirative story I wrote to her made me love me to come and see me, despite the age difference.
Yes. Like you said, it's just a number, really, at the end of the day. Were you a prefect?
I was a prefect, but I started talking so much in class that I was demoted.
Oh my goodness. They said, no, it's not working out.
I didn't bother. It wasn't working out. I didn't bother. But then
you were
they
also
gave
a
me
monitor.
Similar jobs. I was a monitor. I was a prefect. I was a sports prefect. That one I remained with it. I said I played each and every game. Every sport. Netball. Football was not there around us. Tennis. Lawn tennis, table tennis, athletics, name it. And I used to sing, I said. I used to dance.
Where did you get the time?
The time, I'm a multitasker. I think that is also
one of your strengths.
That is my strength.
Yes.
You know what Gayaza made me to be, to cope with every situation I meet.
Yes.
And
whatever was put on you.
Whatever was put on me. Don't forget, my mother was a sportswoman, and my father was a sportsman. So
it's in your blood.
It is in the blood, and I still do it, except that in a lower form.
Yes,
because as you move on, you have to be very careful with your life. I watch a lot of sports.
That is good. That is good.
And I lost in the World Cup. I wanted France.
You wanted France. So
Yes.
I have so many people who wanted France, of course, for reasons, different reasons. But
France is my boy.
it's your team. Every World Cup.
But I'm happy for Messi.
Ah, yes.
I'm
At
so
least you
happy
didn't lose all the
No,
way.
I didn't lose everything.
You didn't lose all the way. So now when you were at Kayaza, you're doing sports, you're singing, you're multi-talented. Wasn't it so hard for you to choose? For example, at A-level, what were you leaned into? What were you inclined to? Where you say, this one I'm sorted. This is my subject, this is what I want to do. This is the line I want to take at that point of A-level. Because O-level, maybe at that point you're just going with the flow. But A-level, you have a plan. What did you lean into?
Teaching. I love teaching because I love people. I want to be where people are.
And what subjects in particular were you?
I teach humanity, literature. I want to look at a person, know you, know your inner soul, and know how to handle you.
That is true.
I love people. And then I love teenagers. I like the things they do. It is madness. And we have ever been there. So when they do these things, I understand.
Yes.
But it's a matter of regulating what they do.
Yes,
And at this time when we have the problem of a new teacher who is called social media,
Oh, yes.
we have a problem.
Yes, we
So,
do.
in fact, one time I was attending a seminar with Stanbic Bank, and they were talking about women. How are we bringing up our kids at this time when we have a new mother who is taking over?
That's true.
And you ladies, your children grow up with social media, even starting at the age of 4.
Yes.
Have you ever realized how are you going to nurture your child with this new arrival of a mother, social media? So we are trying to see how we handle. For me, I'm looking at the generation, which are my grandchildren.
Yes, yes.
My daughter looks after her children. What about me, the grandmother?
Yes.
How am I going to handle? This is why I am studying digital literacy. This is why I have to be digital literate. This is why I don't want to be senile until I die. Nze njagala kusigalanga bwendi paka lwe munanteeka mu ttaka UBC.
Nga tusigalidde mabega.
Nga sigenda kusigalira nabiganye. Nabiganye ebyo. I'm around.
Yes, that is true. Now, a very quick reminder, I must say, for our viewers who are there, this is a very beautiful space. Daughters Exclusive gives us this very beautiful space to bring you amazing women, you know, so that they can tell their stories, they can engage us. I'm literally having a good time. This is the perfect soul sister for us. As it's festive season, it's holiday season, I don't know how you're feeling back at home, but I'm sure deep down you're dancing and, you know, all colors flying around you because she is a burst of life. And the other day I discovered, I don't know how true, people may argue, and someone was saying, but the African woman, or a woman if I could say, is the source of life, and if you cannot enjoy life, then there's no purpose to live in life. Since you're the sources of life, you also determine life in every sense and form for whatever comes. So you're basically like, let me not use the word God, but small, like a god of some sort, small gods, you know. After God comes the woman, probably, I hope.
Yes, after God comes a woman.
Indeed.
Yes.
And we do bring you such people every now and then. Don't go away, we'll be right back for more conversations.
Thank you.
We're glad you're back here with us as we sit at Daughters Exclusive, a very beautiful furniture house here on Ginger Road. You can check it out, find out. Former WBS house, you can Spear House rather, WBS TV. I think most of you can remember that. Do not forget it. And I must say, you should go check us out on YouTube. That is Super Soul Sisters UG. Now the S is like a 3. You know, on the other, you can't get lost. And of course, TikTok at Super Soul Sisters, same thing. The S, you'll see it as a 3. And Insta, or what people call Insta, but Instagram, it is super_soul_sisters. And also on Twitter at Super Soul. So don't forget, you look out for a 3. Yes, TikTok, I did say at 3Oul 3Isters. Please do check us out, give your views, give your opinions. I must say, I hope you're laughing along with us. I am a lover of laughing. I like to relax a bit. And I'm glad I've met her, and it is of honor that we have met
So
her.
am I.
So let us continue. What subjects did you love in school?
Yes, as I said, I loved literature in English. I loved music. I also loved English. English is my subject. I love it.
Yes.
Because it's a national language.
Yes.
Everything is written in English.
Yes.
I love people who speak good English. I love learning about humanity.
Yes.
In literature in English.
Yeah.
It makes you look at someone, get the character,
Yes.
adjust your character as well, because I'm not perfect. There are things I do. But when you read a story, a biography of someone,
Yes.
then I check myself and say, am I doing the right thing?
You see the world differently.
I see the world differently,
Yes.
and it helps me to counsel some of the teenage people. We have kids, hope after rape. We have dependent students in schools. I happen to be a member of the National Private Education Institution. It's called NAPEA. This, private schools take on the more percentage of the education.
Yes,
77% of this country are private schools.
Yes.
So I am one of the executive members of National Private Education Institution. So when I take literature, we would go to schools and counsel these girls, especially after COVID. You can't imagine what these kids went through during COVID.
Yes.
Many don't tell their parents, but there were a lot of challenges. So when they come to the schools, they look for counselors. And if we don't do that, we might lose. We might have so many school dropouts and half-baked students. Now you can even imagine in Makerere this time, there is a dead year for students who did S6 because there is a backlog of those who didn't go for COVID.
Exactly.
What are you going to do with those kids? What are you
Surely.
going to do?
Surely.
So there is a very big challenge, but literature in English will help sensitize. Of course, we need counselors.
Yes, communication in
Communication.
itself. Indeed.
You have to talk to a child.
Indeed. So, you leave Gaza, you go to Makerere, yes?
Yes.
What did you do in Makerere?
Yes, I first went to Chambogo. I first went for a Bachelor of Education.
Okay.
Then I went to Makerere for a Master's in Education. Then I went to Makerere for a PhD. I still did sports.
While at university?
While at university.
You are representing?
I'm telling you, I did my sports. But at the same time, we formed up discussion groups. I have friends of mine, Mrs. Wire, Mrs. Jocelyn Uchanda, who was the first team manager of netball. And we used to have discussion groups and of course socializing a bit.
Of course, yes.
And of course we took trips outside to expose ourselves. We did our research in that way. But as I said, most of the time our research was analog.
Yes.
And we are moving to the digital
world. Yes.
Time is going to come when analog is no longer there. We are doing our taxes online.
Yes.
We are doing our banking online. Everything is done online. If we become senile, our grandchildren will steal our things because digitally. And then we might even lose that niche, that brain of an innocent child because of the cyber influence on the social media. We have to watch, look at the phones and see what a child is watching.
You're very right. You're very sure about that. So now when you went, you first went to Chambogo, you said? You did education.
Bachelor of Education.
Bachelor of Education. And you majored English literature?
And English and literature.
Yes.
And music, by the way.
And music. Nice. How I wish I could hear you sing for us very soon. But I hope I can.
Except that the voice I no longer eat menvu. But I try to sing what I can.
Okay, nice. So while you're doing that, you are organizing yourselves as a team to have organized sports at school. So you are very active all through your life.
Yes.
As a child, as a teenager, and now turning into a youth,
a grandmother,
Jesus,
and a businesswoman, and I'm still a consultant in some of the universities because I'm the vice chairperson of St. Lawrence University, former Muchibi, Professor Muchibi's university, and I'm also a visiting lecturer in Kampala University. The one which belongs to Alhaji Badiru Katerega, the man of 50 titles. Yes. And I'm a team manager.
Oh, wow.
It
must take determination.
Of a male's team, can you imagine? We understand each other.
The netball team.
The male team, I'm a team manager. Nice. The netball team, I was a patron. During the time when we qualified for the World Cup. And I'm still proud of that.
Yes.
Yes.
You have to be.
Yes.
Always have to be. Okay, so then what made you want to continue and master in education? So when you left Chambogo, you taught for a while?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
and
I taught for
like,
a while.
How long?
And I taught for about 3 years. And then, actually, it is so funny. I said I have to go to Makerere as well. I'm in Chambogo, but Makerere.
Yes. Yes.
Makerere, it's the ivory tower. Yes. I said, now, you see, I'm ambitious as well. I said I had to go to Makerere as well. Yes. So I moved on to Makerere for my masters. Yes. I enjoyed every part with Dr. Nkata, Professor Msazi, those Dr. Nenema, and all that. Then I said, I can't stop at masters. You know, when I looked at the people with PhD, I said, Kakati na wano ngenda obanjagala obasaga. I went, and I went for my PhD. Every course that comes, that can add value to myself, and I invest myself, I do it. Whether
so
it's virtual.
In between there, you were working?
I was working and studying.
Oh, for when you were doing the masters?
Yes, I was even a senior private secretary. By the time I did my PhD, I was a senior private secretary to His Excellency, the President of Uganda.
How did that happen? Let's first go back where we were. You taught 3 years after Chambogo. What schools did you teach in?
I taught at Chambogo. I taught at Nakasero. I also taught at Chitante. I also taught at King's College, Budo.
Oh, wow. Wow. So when you taught there, you're like, I think I need to go on.
Yes, I kept
and go to Makerere. So when you went to Makerere, you were not working at the time?
I was. When I went to Makerere, I was working.
Oh, you were still working at one of the schools you were?
I used to work in the schools where I was. And I used to work as a private secretary to His Excellency. But I went on leave. Most of the time, I could see I was retarded. You see, sometimes you find you're like working a place where they retard you. I was working with the land matters. And most of the people I was exposed to were crying all that time. Babe, takalyange, babe. So I started crying with them. I discovered I would run mad. So I said, I have to
This is while you're doing masters at Makerere?
That is why I went, I went for PhD.
Okay.
Masters I had finished. Masters I was working with my schools.
Okay.
Then after my schools, I went and got a job with as a senior private secretary.
What made you go for that?
The job?
Yes, to go in something almost totally different.
The president invited me.
Oh, okay.
You know, we were at loggerheads.
Yes.
And at one time, I would be one of the best abusers of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda.
Yes.
And I would tell exactly what I felt.
You felt, yes.
Abachala mwatuleke mabega. Those things, it was us who started. I said I'm an activist.
Pushing for, yes.
And then one day the president said, okay, why don't you come and we work together? I was at Kololo. I was taken by one of the ladies. She's called Maria Mtagamba. She said, escort me. I said, I can't escort you to that man. Then she said, you will stay in the car. I didn't know what was happening.
Oh, yes.
So I went, I escorted her, I sat in a car.
Yes.
I was a member of the Democratic Party.
Yes.
When I stayed in the car, the policeman, I think the guard, said, no, but you people are not supposed to stay in the car. Come and sit in the tent. I said, no, I'm not part of those people. Let them sit there.
Me, I'll stay.
I'll stay in the car. The man said, no, but you are not allowed. Come and sit. When I sat, the president announced immediately, we have a new guest here. She's called Dr. Sarah Nkonge. She might not love us, but she wants development.
Yes.
And I'm happy that she has come to join us.
Yes.
That was that day.
Your friend was very...
President Museveni.
No.
Yeah. So from there, she told me to go and work in land matters. You know, we had challenges of land, and she wanted people who have integrity. I have integrity.
Yes, you do.
To help him handle this land situation. That's how I ended up as a senior private secretary, land matters, in the office of the
And being
president.
the person you are, very brutally honest.
Yes.
Very, you wanted to seek out the truth and see how these things go. And I think being a woman interested in women activism, you also said, but there's the issue here.
And it was mostly women. Bango bamumaka, bantwalako ettaka. So whenever I saw them, we could cry together. And then I discovered that
You had sort of...
It started affecting me. I said, now I have to change this mind and do something else.
Yes.
I will work, but at the same time, I'm getting retarded because it was, people were not happy.
So when was this? Which year was this when you were given that?
2000 something.
Okay.
2000.
And then
and
the
three,
point
4.
where you started to feel like you need more growth. That's after how many years of being in this office?
After working in that office, about after 5 years.
Okay.
I was getting retarded. I was not adding value. Okay, I was helping people.
But you
then
felt like you needed
I
your
was
personal...
deteriorating in the mind.
You needed your personal growth.
Yes. I was starting to fall sick because I was passionately looking at the plight of the women who are suffering.
Now, I want to ask a question that maybe then we'll go back to where we are. Have you faced some kind of challenges, especially in a time you grew up, in a time you studied, and in a time you worked as a woman, and a very vocal one at that? One that speaks her mind, one that wants things to go a certain direction, which you believed is the right direction. Did you face any kind of hurdles or challenges along those lines?
Many challenges, but I used to try to overcome them. The first challenge was when I was a board member of the National Forest Authority. We were about 6 board members. When I went to France.
This was after you left the land?
After.
Way
no,
after?
I was doing multitasking.
Oh, yes.
Yes, so they said there's a land, we have sowed forests. There's a forest land we had sowed. And I was taken to the CID without knowledge that actually I was being arrested.
Wow.
I didn't even know about the land. I was in France by the time the story came out, and there was no land sold.
Wow.
Now, when I went to Akulo, I didn't know I was a prisoner already. Because they called me. You know, when bakutwala okusiba bakutwala bulungi. Yes, I went very calmly. But there's some few questions they want to ask you. Kumbe bantwala mukomera. So when I reached there, they said, can you remove your shoes? I said, why? You sold land in NFA. I said, which land? They said, don't worry. If you're innocent, you will come out. Without knowing. Then, of course, I was there the whole day. Then my sister, who is a judge, saw my car outside because I went innocently. And she said, hey, what is my sister doing inside here? She went inside and they said, you see, these are accused of stealing land. Some people go to prison when they are innocent. When they are innocent. So she said, can't you release her on bail? That's when I discovered I was a prisoner. So they said, yes, we can, because if she brings her passport, she told us she was in France. And that is when I looked for my passport, and I was released at 7 o'clock. But in the morning, New Vision, and our pictures were all outside. First page.
Can imagine.
You can imagine how you can lose a name over nothing. That was a very passionate time. And when they find you innocent, nobody talks about it. It has already been circulated on the social media. That was a very tough time.
For some reason, sometimes people don't do follow-up to say, hey, this is, they leave it at that. The masses that read the story keep with that story.
And remember, I was working in land matters.
Oh.
So,
so she's now using
my position to steal government land. It was bad. I didn't like it. Anyway, I was proved innocent. Then the other time is when I lost my husband. This is why I'm so sympathetic to the ladies. When I lost my husband, people came out to claim the property, including some of my in-laws.
Wow.
And they even came to the extent of saying, this is not the legal wife. She had been divorced. There were so many stories that were coming out. And people coming
because they wanted to take property from you.
Exactly. I was in court for 2 years, battling property, which I had made with my husband. But I was strong and spirited.
And aware, you know, when you have the information.
I was aware of my rights. I knew what to do. But 2 years, they even put garnishing the accounts, which I use.
Wow.
And my children were young. And as if that's not enough, they had even instructed that the businesses should be closed until the final determination of the case.
That was a bit extreme.
It was extreme. And I saw people I've never seen it before during the time I was with my husband. That was.
You've never seen them, but somehow, after he's gone.
After his death, they came.
When did you meet your husband?
I met my husband in 1983.
Okay, were you still at school?
I was still very young. And he had schools, and I worked with him.
Oh, the time that you were after Chambogo?
Yes, after Makerere, I
After
think.
Makerere.
After Makerere. I worked with him, and we started investing. We kept on reinvesting. And there was nobody. When we borrowed money from the bank, we first borrowed from Stanbic Bank. It was UCB at that time. Then we went to DFCU because people borrow.
Yes.
If you have to grow, you have to borrow.
You have to, yes.
Nobody was there. But when the man died, then I saw people I've never seen. That was 2004.
Yes.
Then I talked to them. I said, okay, you want things, you want property? I'll give you this one. There was a property which was totally in the bank. I said, you can take that one and the liabilities therein.
Wow.
Then they discovered that schools is not about buildings.
Yes.
And these governance issues, and I'm appealing to all owners of the schools. If you die and you don't leave good structures, and you don't leave your school in a protected way, you might lose it. Because the relatives will come in and think that if the building is what education is. We have seen so many schools fall. That is why I like Professor Mchibi. He made it, he streamlined his governance, and the schools are still running on very well.